Thanks for checking out this horror film review from the BananaLaser Horror Podcast. You can find our full archive of every unedited show at horrorphilia.com. Also, subscribe to BananaLaser on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. It says YouTube. Well, click subscribe. Thanks, and keep on banana-inging. All right, assholes, we're back with the follow-up to Halloween, titled Halloween 2. No subtitle yet. Those are coming later. This came out a few years later, 1981. New director, but still written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. I don't know the exact story behind that, but I have a feeling that he just didn't want to direct it, but maybe legally he needed to write it. Do you have any insight to that?
Yeah, he didn't want to do any fucking thing. As a matter of fact, as far as the legalities exactly, it was some type of contractual thing that he was tied up in with them. How it happened, I don't know. But somehow they decided to do the sequel, and he was somehow committed to having to write it. I think they wanted him to direct. He said no, and somehow they settled on him writing. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. It was a contractual obligation of some sort. And I'll tell you, when I watched the commentary at the end of 1, I feel bad for him because of what he says. The movie ends, the credits roll, he starts talking, and he says, so that was Halloween. And he goes, and he says something next. And he says something about, it should have stayed at 1 movie. He goes, that's what I intended. He goes, I love the way I ended it. It was the perfect end to a movie. He goes, I had to come back for the second. I didn't want to. And the series went on. He goes, and now he goes, I think they're about to make a 6 or something like that, he said. And then he just says, and he goes, it's just sad, he says.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really felt bad for the man because he had this vision. He he did his thing. He made a perfect movie. Just, unfortunately, look what became of the whole thing. And, it's just, he had to do it though. He had to write this. And apparently he wrote it. And because of the situation, he started boozing a lot.
Really?
And, yeah. The story is that he basically wrote this whole fucking screenplay hammered. He couldn't figure anything out. He goes, I sat down with a pen and a paper, or whatever he said. I sat down to write it, and he goes, I've already done this story. I don't know what else I can come up with Michael Myers. I don't know what to do. So, and then later on, when they speak of the Michael, I saw this in the documentary, when they're talking about making Michael and Laurie brother and sister, he says John Carpenter chalks that up to a late night and too much alcohol or something.
Huh.
But basically, I believe I've heard him quoted somewhere that he wrote Halloween 2 through a bottle. So he basically was at a bad state. Didn't want to do. I don't know if he was a alcoholic full fledged before this, during, after, or anything, or just as a result of having to write this.
Well, I think it's clear that he didn't want to do it. I mean, even though you could say the first Halloween was kind of a simple story, this movie, tries to elaborate on that, whereas I just wish he wouldn't have been involved whatsoever, because obviously he didn't care about it. You take Laurie Strode and you basically, clip her at the legs, and she's nobody in this movie almost, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would have rathered somebody else totally new come in and write this thing. And in fact, I credit this movie for picking up immediately where the first one left off. I always find that fascinating. I always like that. But where they go with that, I think it could have been done a lot better. I wish that they would have, kept Michael, kept that character, even kept Loomis, maybe even kept Laurie Strode, but then picked up some other time. You know what I mean? And done something different. Because they picked up the same night, they felt, I bet it was like pigeonholed to this certain idea and of what the events that have already happened. If they would have flashed forward to a different time in the future, then it could have been a different story. It could have been more unique. I don't know, but this is what we get. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, this.
He even had a director that he wanted to direct it, handpicked Tommy Lee Wallace.
Oh, there you go. He did part 3, right?
He ended up doing 3, and he was, he was part of the crew in 1, and he had him handpicked. He goes, well, I'm not going to direct it. He goes, but I'd like him to direct it. And he brought it to him, and Tommy Lee Wallace had so little faith in the script. He thought it was such a bad script and didn't like the idea of them filming the movie that he said, he goes, in good faith as a director, he says, when you direct a movie, he goes, you want to go into it feeling good about it. He goes, in good faith, I couldn't do it. Because I could not direct this movie because I didn't like the script. I don't know why, I appreciate John wanted him to do what he said, but I just couldn't get behind it. So, but then they ended up rekindling, and then they did 3 together. So, ended up okay, but he just didn't like what he saw on paper, and there you go. So then this Rick Rosenthal steps into the picture.
Obviously, Rick, he did with what he had. He's clearly not as talented as Carpenter, but it still felt of the same cloth. It still felt like the same night. It just wasn't as classy, I would say, as
That's
the
true.
original Halloween. It felt more hyper. Even though I don't think anything really happens in this fucking movie. People complain about that about the first one, but really nothing fucking happens in this movie at all. It's just Michael fucking wandering around a hospital for an hour, and but anyways,
too much of that.
Yeah.
Right. Good ending though. I like the way they ended. I actually liked the beginning. I like the feel in the beginning. I like the first 10, 15 minutes, and some of the stuff that leads up to. But once we get to the hospital, and it's unfortunate because that's where you have Jamie Lee Curtis. That's where you have your heroine. That's where you have the person that you have an interest in, is this character. But then something about the placement and whatever it is about the hospital, it just kind of takes me out of it.
It's
I still
the
like
hospital, yes. That's why they should have. I mean, of course, Laurie Strode had to go to the hospital. She's been stabbed. She's been traumatized. That needs to happen. That's why you shouldn't have started the movie immediately where the last one left off. You should have, jumped ahead 3 years or something like that, and then Michael comes back again, or something like that. Because,
like an H2O situation.
Yes, exactly. Because, like I said, you clipped Laurie Strode at the, she's a nothing character almost. She's either drugged up or passed out or that's it in this
She's
fucking
just there to
movie.
be stalked.
Exactly. She has no point other than she's the piece of cheese dangling in front of the mouse who's on the fucking wheel. That's exactly what she is. Right. She's the reason that he's coming after her, and that's it. And of course they had to give him a reason this time, which just to me that was the biggest mistake in the franchise. To make Michael Myers related to Laurie Strode was a huge misstep. Huge. Shouldn't have happened. Nope.
Don't drink. There you go. Just say no.
Oh, boy.
That's what happens. Alcohol leads to fucking making people brother and sister. They have no right being brother and sister.
Oh, shit.
It's a public service announcement to horror fans. The more you know.
Oh, fuck.
What's going on out here?
Call the police. Tell the sheriff I shot him.
Who?
Tell him he's still on the loose.
Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
You don't know what death is.
But let's start at the beginning. Right off the bat.
Good stuff.
There is a lot of good stuff here, but the most jarring thing at the beginning is the score. It's the same score, but it's not the same score. It's tonally different because it's synth out. You know what I mean?
It's the Goblin version of fucking Carpenter.
There you go.
This is the Argento fucking Halloween.
I still like it, because it still has the classic feel, but it's like an updated version. For that, I still like it. But if you're attempting to watch these back to back, like I think the filmmakers want you to do, because it picks up right where the first one left off, it's so jarring. When that music kicks in, it's like, whoa, this is not the same movie. Clearly.
Right.
Just right off the bat.
Why did they do that? I never understand that.
No.
If you're going with the same night and trying to keep the same vibe, why would you change the music at all, which was such an integral part of the success of the first movie? Why would you fuck with it?
I don't know. And I question it every time. And that's why I don't recommend that you watch them back to back, because immediately you'll hit a brick wall with that right there.
You're right. And I still do it, though. I still can't help it. Halloween night, there I am.
Yeah, good for you.
But I hear you. But I do hear you. I still get that feeling.
Yeah, but what I do have to say about the opening credit sequence is that it does go further in a fucking brilliant way. It still has the jack-o'-lantern that you do a zoom in on, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But then it splits open very slowly, and it shows a skull on the inside, and that fucking works.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. That's like the peeking behind the curtain kind of thing. It's like, well, the first movie brought you the jack-o'-lantern, but this one is going to show you so much more, supposedly. And, and so for that, I love the opening sequence. The credit sequence, I think it's great.
I do also. It's fantastic, and it actually takes me back to my childhood, because it's a little bit scary. And what happened was, when I first started into the horror thing, I had seen Halloween. I don't know. I didn't own it for some reason. But at the time, I was recording a lot of things off TV, and it might have been before I was actually copying movies or whatever. But Halloween 2 came on TV on like a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon, some strange time, and I recorded it, and I put it along with whatever. I used to record, things off HBO and everything else. So I had the TV version edited and the whole nine, different plot points and stuff. I taped this, and I would go back to it because it was the only copy I had at the time of any Halloween movie. So I would go and I would watch Halloween 2, and, for whatever reason, every time I see that, it takes me back to being at that age and watching that old videotape. It's just one of those things. Yeah, and it's kind of scary when they show the skull, the way the music does it, and I don't know, it's cool. But how about Mr. Sandman, even before that happens?
Dude, I love I love the Sandman bookends in this movie.
Me too.
I remember that so vividly as a kid, because I thought the Sandman, I'd never heard that song before, so I thought the Sandman was Michael Myers.
It's cool.
And yes, and growing up my entire life, anytime I heard that song, it bring me right back to Halloween. But I mean, when you're a kid, Halloween 1 and 2, they're one and the same. It's not different. Even though stylistically it's different, but it's one and the same because you have the same characters. It's the same night. It's all the same. It all blends together. At least for me, it did. And so I always thought of Michael Myers when I heard that Sandman song. And it works great because it should be pretty late in the evening. They kind of retcon it a little bit and make it earlier than what it is, but it should be late in the evening, and everybody should want to go to sleep. The night should be over. I want to go to sleep, but you can't because he's still out there. And so I just think that song is brilliant. It's a brilliant pick for this movie.
Yeah, I love that thing. And when you have the regular theatrical version, that's the way it starts with the Mr. Sandman, and they show the leaves blowing in the trees, and it's a different shot because they don't show that part in part one, but they have like the camera, high up, and the trees are rustling, and they're playing that song, and it swoops down in, and then you go into Laurie in the house in the conclusion of part one, which is great, and then the actual credits don't come until after all that shit goes down. I shot him 6 times, and the whole fucking 9, and you don't know what death is. That whole fucking that whole bit, and then he runs away, and then the credits roll, and it's all great. I do love that because I like the TV version as well, and I like this.
for this recording, I watched the TV cut. That and normally when I watch different versions of movies, I can recognize when something's different, and I did so a lot with this movie. But the beginning, I didn't, and so the beginning of the TV cut starts immediately with the credits and the jack-o'-lantern, and then goes to everything else. Okay.
And they take out that line completely.
You don't know what death is.
Yeah, that's gone, and it's kind of good and kind of bad, because
it's a little cheesy, but I like it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's a little cheesy,
right?
Because the way he says it is kind of strange. You don't know what that is.
Right.
You don't know what that is. It's so fucking.
You sound like a South Park character. That was good. That was great. Holy fuck.
Yeah, but and then the synth music kicks in right after he says it. You don't know what that is. Fucking.
You sound like Craig from South Park. That's who you are. That's fucking great.
Oh,
Craig
shit.
does Loomis. You don't know what death is,
Yes, yeah, they do the little recap of.
But it makes me laugh, and I like that.
Yes.
Just like in the beginning of Halloween, when the other part makes me laugh. Go on, move. That part. It's
right.
the same thing. It's a little bit of a fucking chuckle at the beginning of a horror movie, and for whatever reason, it fits to me. It's just part of the Loomis character. It's part of the charm of it that sometimes he says things that aren't meant to be funny, but are. It's part of the joy of watching the movie. I realize it's a bit cheesy, but I'm glad it's there.
No, you're right. It's definitely gold. However you take it, it's leave it in. And there's little choices like that.
Peel it back. Sorry.
There's little choices like that in the TV cut that I don't necessarily understand. I understand shuffling scenes around, to bring a different
yes,
a vibe and stuff like that. I get that. But to take out a line like that, I don't understand. Why would they? It's not. There's no swearing in it. It's not vulgar, anything like that.
I guess they just thought it was cheesy and they wanted to have a more serious tone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's who else? I don't know. It's the best I got.
Yeah.
The guy that cut it said, "Well, I don't like that. Let's make this more fucking serious." Mm-hmm. And boy, it's kind of cool that the guy had some type of creative control with it. Let's leave Michael in the background more, and let's shuffle this around. And he had some good ideas. Yeah. Some worked and some didn't.
Yeah, true. I mean, definitely all the gore is gone. There's 2 deaths that are taken out, at least 2. There may be more.
And they were throw-ins.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. The thing at the end with the head nurse that was left out, and Dr. Mixture that was left out, and that's too bad because those were 2 really good scenes, and we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. But those should have been left in. I understand why you couldn't show Dr. Mixture because he had the needle in his eye, and it wouldn't have worked on regular TV. I get that, but they could have done something where they spun him around, and you know what I mean. You see that shit on edits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing I'll get to later because it's kind of a plot thing. But what the fuck? I understand why they took out the 1 because it was just kind of it was just a red shirt situation.
Yeah,
and it was unlike Michael of Part 1 right off the bat.
Very, very unlike Michael, and that's my main problem with this movie because it's 3 years later. Even though it's written by the same guy, it's trying to catch up with what Friday the 13th is starting to do. It's trying to up the ante, just do something more shocking, for shock's sake. And it takes away all the atmosphere. It takes away the mood and the stalking mentality that Michael has. And because right off the bat, even though you have the scene after Laurie Strode gets picked up in the ambulance, you have the scene of Michael's POV wandering around the alleyways.
I like it.
It
feels good.
I do like that, but then everything after that,
right?
You see just Michael just way more prominent. You see his face just right off the bat,
Right.
They should have scaled it back. I understand we already know who he is. We already know what he looks like, but that doesn't mean that you can't put him back in the shadows and do the exact same thing that the last movie did. There's no reason you couldn't have done that. I mean, it's what worked in the first movie. It's what they should have done here.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was definitely a flaw there. And you know what? This has bugged me since the first time I saw it, and it's in both versions, and it's unmistakable. Michael gets shot. Okay, They show when they recap the end of part 1 into part 2. You know how they show it from a different angle when he gets shot and he's backing up, and then you see him fall off the porch?
Yes.
Does that make any fucking sense to you?
No.
He's standing on top of the fucking railing already.
Right.
There's obviously a ramp there, and he backs up and he just goes off it. Why didn't they just have him back up, and then fall like an old person would over the fucking ledge?
Right.
I'll never understand. It was so... Who were they trying to fool? You know?
I don't understand why they felt the need to punch that stuff up by adding different scenes in it. You already had all the footage of that part. Why not just keep it like it is? It's fine. I understand how they rearranged some of the music cues, to get the feeling of a beginning of a movie as opposed to the ending of the movie. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But why would you add in footage when there's really it didn't make sense? Like you said, it just looked ridiculous. Kind of smashed in with the rest of the stuff.
I don't know why they made it. Why was it so difficult to just have him back up and freaking fall over the ledge of the house?
Yeah.
Why does it look so fake?
No, he had to walk up it and then it kind of just fall off. Yeah, he had to stand on top of the railing.
He was on a ramp the entire
time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just fucking me that it bothered, because it's always been the biggest turnoff for me is that scene.
Nope, I never liked it, and like I alluded to for the Halloween part, when you see him gone, it's a different shot of the ground, and there's a fucking like a chalk outline where he went like. What the fuck? How hard would he have to fucking land on the ground to leave an imprint of his body, right there like a gingerbread or a snow angel, like what the fuck?
You got fucking sod grass or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just it's the small choices like that that just make this movie a small comparison to the original.
How about this? How about the fact that they got everybody back from part 1? Mm-hmm. You fucking name it. The cinematographer, the fucking... Everybody is there. Every actor, all these people that came in. The one guy that they couldn't get, Nick Castle, fucking Michael Myers, They replace him with fucking Dick Warlock. What the fuck was Nick Castle doing that he couldn't commit to this?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a fucking shame.
I'd like to know. Was he doing something more important?
No idea.
Shame,
but what's worse about it is that the director, he should have been able to make him at least imitate the Myers from the first movie, and because he changes him so much in his movements, he just let him go and do whatever you want. It's obvious. He was just like, hey, just walk like Michael Myers. Yeah, that looks great. He should have
I think he tried. I think he had the guy watch it, and he couldn't reproduce it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean...
that was his intention. Why wouldn't it be?
He's clearly not an actor. I don't know how much of an actor Nick Castle was, but Dick Warlock is a fucking stuntman.
Right.
He knows how to do stunts, but fucking act as a killer, a pure evil, behind a mask, he just couldn't do it.
No, and the direction is to blame.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I mean, later on when he's doing the really slow fucking creep, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
You know what I mean? Like... So the director's to blame. You can't fucking just say it's Dick Warlock alone. But still, I mean, it's both of them. But it's just a shame. Nick Castle would have made for a better movie.
Absolutely. Yep.
Hey,
Now, is there anything else that we can do for you?
If that wasn't Michael Myers burning up in that car, then a lot of other kids are going to be slaughtered tonight.
He's dead. I saw him.
I saw a man in a mask.
It was him.
I want to believe you, but I got to be sure. I can't stop until I'm certain that he's dead.
You're talking about him like he's some kind of animal.
He was my...
Would you keep him back?
He was my patient for 15 years. It became an obsession with me until I realized that there was nothing within him, neither conscience nor reason, that wasn't even remotely human. An hour ago, I stood up and fired 6 shots into him. He just got up and walked away. I am talking about the real possibility that he is still out there.
You know, it's the same mask, by the way.
Yes, I was just going to compliment them on that. That they were able, that they still had the same mask, even though it's obviously it looks different. But I guess that's just because it sat on a shelf for 3 years or something like that.
What happened was this. I saw this in the documentary. That while he wasn't wearing it during the first shoot, Nick Castle would stick it in his back pocket when he didn't have it on.
Oh,
and that got a little bit of wear. And then, after the movie, for 3 years, Deborah Hill kept it under her pillow in her bedroom.
What?
Yes. And she was a heavy smoker.
That's fucking creepy.
Right? I think she was just thought it was the safest place for it.
Huh.
I don't know. But that it was kept under
so
her pillow.
that's that makes sense with the color of it, because it's really like it's all dirty. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot different, and that makes sense now. It's got that fucking tar. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you believe that shit?
Huh.
So that happened, and then on top of it, it because Dick Warlock was smaller or was shaped differently, of course, than Nick Castle. Mm-hmm. It just, the way it sat on him, it also looked different, and the color was different, and whatever. But I honestly didn't know that it was the same mask. We know it's not the same mask in the later sequels, but I never knew it until I watched the documentary, and they were talking about it, and I was like, how do you like that? But then they said at the end of it, they gave the mask, the scalpel, and the jumpsuit. Dick Warlock, asked for them. And they fucking said, sure, go ahead, because this was the end of Michael Myers, as we'll get to that discussion later. But they said, we're not making another one. This is it. So the guy said, hey, can I keep the mask and the jumpsuit and the fucking scalpel? What? Sure, buddy. Yep. That's why they never got it back again. Come part 4.
They never let people do that kind of shit anymore. Even when they think there's absolutely no chance of them needing a prop anymore, they don't fucking give actors that shit. The actors steal that shit.
Right?
You know, they never do that. Holy shit, I had no
idea. Maybe it was stolen. Who knows? Maybe they just didn't want to sound like they got fucking robbed.
Yeah, no shit. They didn't want to come off like chumps. Like, yeah, we told him he could have all that stuff. Sure. Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Isn't it something, though? Oh, go ahead.
That fucking blows my mind. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're kind of harping on this movie a little bit, it seems like. But that's just because we're coming off such a huge high from Halloween. I mean, fucking what a high watermark, to try to replicate. And yeah, but there is some good stuff here. I mean.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, the POV of him walking through the alleyways and stuff like that, and hearing the radio and seeing Loomis and Brackett pull up, and I shot him 6 times, all of that I love. He when he goes,
the L-Rods, you like that scene?
Is that the lady making the sandwich? The
L-Rods?
Yes. Yeah.
Night of Living Dead playing that whole fucking scene. I think it's great.
I do really like that. Now in the TV cut, that plays a lot differently because, well, first of all these scenes are shuffled around, and the scene where he's walking down the alleyway in the theatrical cut is almost immediately, and in this movie it comes way later. It comes after fucking Ben Tramer gets killed. I think. Yeah, it's definitely moved around, and
which is good. I like that.
I do like that. The scene with what did you call them, the L-Rods or whatever?
Yeah.
It's edited differently. I think to cut out the blood only. I'm not for sure, but doesn't she turn around and see him and see some blood or something like that? And then I can't recall. It's been a while since I've seen the theatrical cut, but when I was watching it this time, I'm just like, this just feels edited strangely to me. And so
there is a difference, and I can't put my finger on it, but I do remember blood on the cutting board. There's like a cutting board with the knife being on it.
Yes.
And that's why she screams. She turns around and sees that. But I must say this. I do like the scene of him being shown the point of view, we're in like the living room, and Mrs. Elrod's in the kitchen, and you see Michael outside the door, standing there, shape stalking again, like part one.
Yes.
I do like that. You know, I don't mind seeing him on camera in a situation like that. Granted, it's kind of early in the film. Like you said, it's picking up where the other one left off. They kind of felt they can get away with it because people know what he looks like already.
Right. Yeah.
But I do like that shot. I think it's cool. You know?
Yeah, I speculate that the TV cut on this part was edited differently because in the theatrical, he then almost immediately goes on to kill the neighbor girl, and
that's right out. Right.
And so I think it was edited differently just to give it more of a final kind of end to the scene. Whereas in the theatrical, he goes on very much out of character. Goes right. and kills this girl, this young college student, and and it happens so early in the movie, and it seems so out of place that it's very jarring. And you see, it has a close up of Michael's face. You see his eyes through the mask as he's cutting her, and it's just so different from the original
it's a quick thing.
Yeah. Feel of the movie, or from the original movie, so different from the feel of that that it's very jarring.
Yeah, it is. It's a quick jump too. Boom, jumps up, blood, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, he stalks for a second. We do see a little suspense. She's on the phone talking to her friend. Oh, Haddonfield, or that's true. That's right near her, and she's a little nervous about it. And then you see him also in the background through the window looking at her, and I do like that too. That's fine. So there is a little suspense to it, but when it actually comes time for the money shot, it's just a little too much. It's much too radical a departure from part one. You know?
It feels like to me that the TV cut was the original plan. He sees her come out and be like, "Hey, are you okay? I heard them screaming." And she goes back in. He's looking at her through the window, and then end of scene. But it seems like they watched the cut of the movie and was like, "No, we need to punch this up. Let's film this. Let's add on to this part and just have him kill this chick, and have a kill right off the bat." It seems like one of those kind of scenes. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
No, I agree. It is. Yeah. They did put a little bit of style to it by showing him, I thought, but ultimately that's what it ended up being.
Yeah.
But how about the girl on the phone though? I do get humor out of that fucking scene when she calls the cops or whoever she calls, and she talks about the neighbors, and she goes, she's always yelling at him, and then she says he probably got fed up and decided to start beating her.
Yeah, like it's all casual, like just fucking,
Like after 30 years of marriage, he just all of a sudden said, "That's it, damn it, fucking." He's gonna start fucking beating his wife,
And how she was so nonchalant about it, like, she's always picking on him, so he's probably beating the shit out of her. Like, whoa, holy fucks, spousal abuse, man, Jesus.
But she was like supporting him. She's like, she's always doing this. She goes, she probably got fed up and just started, decided to start beating her. Like fucking. She was advocating.
Yeah, especially from another female. It's like, what the fuck. She doesn't care about women's rights or anything.
Right.
Yeah, put her in her place, old man.
Yeah.
She deserved that shit. She didn't put mayo on your sandwich like you asked. I said no mayo.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, I like that.
That shit's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was got a kick out of that line.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. Can't have gotten very far. Come on. I shot him 6 times. This guy, he's not human.
Since they rearranged the scene of that in the TV cut, the whole Loomis yelling from the car, "I shot him 6 times."
Yes.
Not there.
I missed that too.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And I understand you had to cut it out because it's a different part of the movie, but by that point in time, like I said, Sheriff Brackett already seen his daughter dead, and Ben Tramer's already been killed and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's such a good moment to hear Loomis say that. I mean, anytime you take away Loomis's great lines, what is left of him? he's all dialogue, that guy.
Yep.
So,
I hear you.
yeah.
They toned him down. It's just that was another thing, I guess. I guess they put that in the same category as you don't know what death is.
Yeah, exactly.
I shot him 6 times. I guess I didn't want to fucking have a bugged out panicked Loomis running around. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why. It's just he was speaking in a different tone. I don't know. I don't know why they would take that out, honestly, because that's a classic line. That's a great scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't they show that? But I don't fucking know.
Will you put that thing away? Couldn't have shot him 6 times.
You think I'm lying, Sheriff?
I think you missed him. No man could take 6 slugs.
I tell you, this isn't a man.
The paramedics pick up Lori, and they take her to the hospital, and one of the paramedics, you know, he's a couple years older, he's a college kid, he recognizes Lori, they have some kind of kinship. Now this guy, I don't know if you recognize him, but he's in another 80s classic, and that is The Last Starfighter. Have you seen that, or know even what I'm referencing?
I know of it, yeah. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah, that's Jimmy, the paramedic, the guy who's keen on Laurie Strode. And,
right.
These are his 2 claim to fames, I think, is this and The Last Starfighter.
You know, I confuse him with the kid from fucking House and The Greatest American Hero and Carrie, that guy.
Wow, yeah, very similar, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I never thought about it, but maybe I thought that was him too. I don't know.
No. Yeah, so, okay, they take her to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, and holy shit, is this not the fucking emptiest hospital in the entire universe? What the fuck? I mean, I counted 8 people on the staff, including the security guy, including the 2 paramedics, and there's 8 people on the staff. The only other patients we see are babies. We see Laurie Strode, and we see, no, forgive me.
And the little kid with
we
the
see the little boy with the razor blade in his mouth. Which his little bit is also cut down in the TV edit. You don't see him walking into the hospital with the actual thing in his mouth.
You're right.
You see him. Yeah, you see him in the waiting room with like a bloody bandage. That's it. And so,
right. Yeah, that was a little much. That was some gratuitous blood, I guess. You know.
I realize you need a setting. You know, you need a setting like the houses and stuff like that where there's no authority and shit like that. I get it, but this is another attribute why they should have not done it the same night. It makes no sense for him to be in that hospital and there be no one else. It's Halloween. Surely it's like Devil's Night, all that. There's got to be something going on. People getting hurt. There has to be. It makes no sense. I mean, unless Illinois has like a different type of feel of Halloween. I don't. It makes no sense.
I don't know. Maybe it's just such a small town that there's just fucking nothing going on. I don't know.
That's what it needed underneath the at the beginning when it says Haddonfield Halloween. It should have said population 800 or something. It would have gave us a sense of that. Yeah.
Something, yeah, because it was empty as fuck. And then, of course, you got all these newborn babies, but where are the parents? When you got newborn babies, parents are right up their fucking ass. You know what I mean?
It's the other thing. There are no parents in this. They magically lose the Strodes. They're like, okay, we can't have them in this movie, clearly, but it's like
they couldn't contact him, right?
Yeah.
Because the guy was at the party and they said he was there too. The drunk doctor. Yeah.
They left the Cult of Thorn party, but where are they now? Oh, we just can't find them. It's a long drive home, I guess. They just had to lose them somehow, and that was their way out. It just that's bad writing right there.
That's true. Yeah, they did. They mentioned it and then they gave up. Well,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, not gonna come see their fucking 17-year-old daughter that just almost got fucking butchered by a fucking unknown lunatic in a hospital. She'll be all right. We'll see her in the morning.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, but here's the other thing: we see countless shots of the hospital from the outside. It's probably 2 floors maybe 3.
Yeah,
It's not a huge place.
No.
And there's clearly no one there. Even going, you could go room to room in 12 minutes in this fucking place, but Dick fucking Warlock at his fucking crawl fucking speed can't find Laurie Strode to fucking save his life. What the fuck? I realize they're trying to stretch this shit out and draw it out, but it's like a Where's Waldo game to him, except Waldo is right in front of his fucking face, and he still can't find Waldo.
It's fucked. It's like Jason walking around on that fucking on the boat, and fucking Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and nobody runs into him. Give me.
And nobody runs into him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but opposite.
It sucks. I hate to jab this movie so much.
I do too. Right. I hear you.
I do love to watch this movie. I mean,
so do I.
Given all the sequels in the franchise, this is one of the better ones. Absolutely.
Yes.
But it's just coming off of Halloween immediately, it just dips down so low.
You can't help but compare.
Right. Yeah.
You're going from a masterpiece to something that it's an effort, and there's good.
A for effort, guys.
They tried. There's good and there's bad, and there's more good than bad. I do enjoy it.
Lori, wait. Wait, Lori.
Okay, so at the end of Halloween, Laurie puts the 2 kids to bed. What time do you think she's putting these kids to bed? 9, 10, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe 11. 11's pushing it.
Maybe 11, Halloween, possibly, sure.
Okay.
But still, okay. You're right, 11's pushing it.
Okay, then next movie, bam, okay, let's say it's 10 o'clock at night. Still trick-or-treaters.
Yes.
I don't fucking think so, dude.
Not
Not
that's
happening.
True.
People
the
are
whole
turning.
Ben Tramer situation.
They're
and
turning their
the
porch
kids.
lights off. The people are no. I'm done giving out candy. Go the fuck home. It's not happening.
And the funny thing is, that is what's happening in that scene. Remember the guy? I've been trick or treated to death tonight. That guy was done. He had shut down shop. His lights were off.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And even Laurie in part 1 knocking on the doors and shit, and fucking the lights were off. They turned them on and they shut them off. And fucking,
That's right.
yeah. So
Oh,
it's
what
pretty
great
fucking
neighbors,
nice.
man. Jesus.
Right, I know, right? Fucking assholes, right?
Oh, brother.
It's like, what the hell? It's late. Yeah, there is a problem with fucking time-space continuum in this situation.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, this Ben Tramer scene. He's the kid that Laurie mentions in in part 1. She got a crush on him, that whole thing with the dance. And so having him be this character is great.
Yes, I agree.
I love that connection right there. I thought that was brilliant, and it was a great call, I think.
Right.
Now, his death scene, on the other hand, is handled a little differently. I like the fact that it's like some kind of action, and it's a high adrenaline moment. I like that. But it just seems so ridiculous. First of all, Loomis is ready to shoot him. Just immediately, without full confirmation, he has got his fucking gun out. The cops are there trying to fucking take it away from him. He's fucking flailing around. He's ready to kill.
I got my finger on the trigger. Yep.
and Ben's just not. He just turns around, starts walking the other way.
Right.
Then starts wandering through the street.
And looking around, bugging out a little bit.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Like, what the fuck? I'm getting out of here. I'm fucking drunk, I'm getting out.
Right.
And
Poor Ben.
And immediately gets run over by a cop car, and then crashes into a van. This is so illogical on so many levels. I mean, I could see him getting hit by a car, but a cop car? Aren't these guys supposed to be better drivers than real people? And then for him to immediately just drive into something else, like, wow. I
never knew that. Wait a minute.
Think about it, dude. Okay,
It was a cop car?
Yeah. Yes.
That's fucking
The
brilliant.
cops ran this fucking guy over.
What the fuck for? Why?
It seems like it plays like they fucking it wanted to run this fucking guy over. I'm sure it was.
Dr. Loomis sent him fucking messages. ESB. He's like fucking. It's like Dr. Loomis from fucking Phenomena. He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's an insect. Fucking.
He willed the car to run him over. I think. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I never knew that was a cop car. I just never paid attention to it.
I hope I'm not giving you the wrong information now, but I'm pretty sure it was a fucking cop car.
I don't fucking pick up on some things. That's great.
But even how fast are you fucking driving to fucking plow through this guy and then veer off to the other side of the street, to the left side of the street and crash into, like, what the fuck?
That fucker got blasted too. Holy fuck.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? This is kind of fucked up. When I was a kid, for some strange reason, I was just doing my thing, sitting downstairs in the living room, playing with my wrestling figures, doing what I was doing. My parents, who aren't known to watch horror movies, happened to be sitting down watching this on HBO. I think it might have been when it just came out. This movie's playing, and I'm not paying attention. But for some reason, I happened to look up at this scene, and I saw fucking Ben Tramer with this mask on and this hair. And I didn't realize he was wearing a mask. I was so put off by the hair, I thought that it was a fucking punk rock kid. And he freaking got blasted and whatever. There was the times. Kids are wearing fucking spiky hair and colored hair and shit, and they were punk rockers, And that's what I thought it was. And until much later, not much later, but whatever, a few years later when I got into the genre and I went back and watched it, I was expecting to see some punk rock kid fucking killed in a car accident. And I walk back and I see this movie and it's completely not that at all.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I retained that for years. Like, oh yeah, Halloween 2. That was a movie where that punk rocker got hit by a car.
Punk rocker.
Yeah, that's just what I always fucking...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I always thought that. Who knows? I might have been the only person ever to think that, but...
Yeah, no, that never occurred to me. But...
Right, no, I just always associated it with that. I guess I just looked up and I saw the hair and the crash happened so quick, and it was just odd that my parents were watching the movie to begin with. But
what was jarring to me was that not only was Ben Tramer wearing a fucking the exact same mask, which I guess they're selling in stores, what the fuck, but he also has on the jumpsuit, like. Right. That's a little too coincidental. Like, what was he going out as? Like, oh, I'm a badass guy in a jumpsuit and a white mask. What are you? I don't know. Like what was his plan? I don't understand.
He's a fucking punk rocker in a fucking jumpsuit.
He's a punk rocker. Jesus Christ. No,
that's the best I got.
What was jarring to me also was that he clearly did not have the physicality, the size that Michael Myers has.
Yeah, he was a little
even from a distance, it's like, no, that's not him. Loomis was just so blinded with revenge or whatever, that he just fucking had to kill him. And then of course he gets run over. It's just so ridiculous. Another thing is that when he gets pinned between the fucking van and the cop car, he doesn't fall over. He stands up. Have you ever thought about that? Like,
wasn't this because he's sandwiched in? I think.
Yeah, but it's not like it was at his weight. It's not like it was above his waist. He would have fallen over. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're standing at the hood of a car, especially a cop car from the 80s. It wouldn't have been, maybe I'm just thinking about me and how tall I am, but I think he would have fallen over. Anyway.
That's true. He's fucking stiff as a board.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't wait fucking for Halloween night to watch this movie. For that fucking scene. I cannot wait. I'm going to fucking have a jolly old time.
God.
Cop car and a fucking... Oh, that's great. And the guy standing straight up. I got a whole new appreciation for this movie.
Good. I'm glad you're getting something out of this podcast.
I know. I was starting to get Well, here's the deal. I had this movie kind of elevated, and the more we're talking about it, it's going down.
I know.
But now it might come back up for different reasons. I don't know. The comedy might fucking boost it up.
Yeah.
You should have put this on the fucking horror comedy show.
Fucking should have put a laugh track on this fucking. You don't know what death is.
Fucking Craig from South Park. That's fucking gross. Holy fuck. Incredible.
So, one little bit of business that I do like is the how they get Michael to the hospital, and that is it starts with the reporters. They overhear Loomis just fucking doling out all kinds of information to the cops, and they're right there. Of course, they're gonna fucking report it. It gets on the radio, and then in the town square, there's this little kid walking around with with the boom box.
Right.
Yeah, with the boom box, and it's given all this information about where Laurie is, and Michael overhears that. And I really like that whole scene, how it kind of flows, from the nurse's conversation about, how she's coming from this party and she's going to be late for work and blah, blah, blah. Then the kid comes back into the scene, and then, you see Michael, and he clearly hears the radio. Then he just kind of wanders off, and you see the sign that says Haddonfield Memorial. I like that whole little scene. Yeah.
And I never made the connection that Michael got information from the kid on the radio. That's why
really? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they put that scene in there now.
Yes, because otherwise, how would he? He's connected to her like he is with fucking his niece in the sequels psychically. Otherwise, he's able to just figure out where she is, psychically like that. Which, oh brother, we'll get into that.
This fucking family. Who are they? Right?
Yeah,
oh,
Jesus
fuck,
Christ.
they're all psychically connected.
Yeah.
Fucking Jan Warwick and fucking the Psychic Friends Network. The fuck are these people?
The Cult of Thorn Psychic Friends Network.
That's it, yes. The Cult of Thorn explains all. We're going to end up giving fucking Halloween 6 high ratings because it explains away every fucking flaw in the series.
Yeah. Hey.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that happens there. And so that gets him to the hospital where the majority of the action, if you will, happens. And we don't really have a character to focus on. Okay, Loomis...
Yeah, Laurie's out of it.
Yes, Laurie is... she's out of it. They drug her up multiple times. Loomis is, wandering around, killing Ben Tramer, fucking, then getting picked up by, the government, whatever, being taken back home, and all this shit. And so in the hospital, you have all these, characters floating around, and they're just cattle, to get killed. And that's all they are. You don't have the connection to any of these people like you did with the first movie whatsoever. It's just not the same. Whenever someone gets killed, it just isn't the same. Now, what I will give some of these kills, they're up in the ante with the gore factor. And one of my favorite, well, definitely my favorite kill, the banana split, is the security guard with the claw of the hammer to the fucking head.
It's fucking sweet.
It's definitely my favorite kill of the movie, just because it's so unique and it's so jarring, and you could just feel, we've all held a hammer in our hand, you know what I mean? And so you can just feel the weight of that claw coming down on the skull and crushing it. It's fucking good. But not only that, the whole setup of that scene. It does have a fake scare with a fucking cat jumping out, and that.
It's a little suspense,
Yeah, it's a little suspenseful still. It's not nearly on the level as the first one. We'll probably say that a gajillion times more, but it still works. So that's my banana split of the movie.
There you go. Well, that scene. Speaking of that scene, it's very Friday the 13th ish. That whole fucking. It always reminded me of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it has the jump scare,
Yeah, the jump scare and the looking around and that. And then this scene has always reminded me of the security guard in Halloween 2 has always reminded me of the cop in Friday the 13th Part 2 that stumbles upon Jason's shack. It's the same type of situation.
Oh, Yeah,
and they both
exactly.
die the same fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's unmistakable. Those guys they even look somewhat. They're even kind of built a little bit alike. It's always they always reminded me of each other. Those two scenes.
And these movies came out the same year, right? Or no?
Yeah, 81.
81. Yeah. Huh. Holy shit.
Who to say? Hard to say who ripped who, but yeah, they did the same fucking thing. It was a hammer in Friday 2 also, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But that is a good scene, definitely. But my banana split is actually it's just because it shows the sheer strength of him, which I kind of like. I like when he kills the blonde nurse at the very end when it's the last one he kills. So Karen, her name is. Or no. Karen's the fucking hot
Jill.
one that fucks with Bud. Yes, Jill. Thank
Jill.
you. When he stabs Jill with the scalpel, and the whole scene, Laurie's all dazed. She turns around, he sees it, and he fucking jams her, and then lifts her up with the scalpel, and then
Yes.
it fucking
the shoes drop. Yeah, she kind of lets go. You know, her muscles relax. The shoes drop. Brilliant fucking moment when the
I've
shoes
always
drop.
liked that. Yeah, I always liked that whole scene. It just shows how fucking strong he is, and just the whole gravity of the whole scene. How Laurie finally, she's been bugging out the whole time about Michael coming, and even more in the TV version, which I do like that about it. How she keeps saying he won't die, he's coming back. I know he's coming back.
Yeah, I found that very strange this time. Yeah, because
it makes sense.
I didn't remember that, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, because remember at the end, she says, "Why won't he die?"
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's in the theatrical, but it makes sense because she's been alluding to it the whole time that he's not dead, and I love that about the TV version. But she's been anticipating Michael coming this whole time, and then all of a sudden, the shit hits the fan. She calls her Laurie, and then she turns around, and then boom, then she sees Michael face to face for the first time. Boom, he fucking kills the bitch, wakes it up, the things fall. That whole sequence, I think, is great.
Yeah, so. And Jill is the banana I'd like to peel in this movie. There's a lot of chicks in this flick, and even some that get nude, but she just has the cute factor about her, whereas the others don't. So she's the one I gotta take.
I was on the fence until the end of the show, and when I watched the TV version, I was thinking Jill. Mm-hmm. I was agreeing with you, but then I was seeing some of the close-ups of her face towards the end, and I wasn't so. It seems like she was better from far away earlier in the movie, and then towards the end, when you get to know her more and you see more close-ups of her face, it's not the same. Maybe she'll let her hair down; she'd look hotter. But I was kind of I was all about her for a while, but then when I watched the theatrical, I watched with the commentary the other night, and I saw the nude scene with Karen in the hot tub, and her fucking body. And her tits are fucking perfect. I'm telling you, so hot. I changed it right then and there. I said, okay, I didn't see the nude scene in the television. Yeah. So I watched it like, oh, it all came back to me. I said, holy shit. We were talking about that show that, we may eventually do with the Skeleton Crew about the tit show. Mm-hmm. I'm fucking nominating Karen right fucking now. She's definitely in the fucking Sweet 16.
The tit tournament, yeah.
Yes, the tit tournament. She is fucking in there. So I'm peeling fucking Karen all day and night.
All right. They're in my opinion the only two choices. Definitely going back and forth with them.
Right.
I would not pick Laurie Strode because of that fucking wig that she wears the whole time. I mean, that's a fucking wig, right? When in the final chase, her hair's like not moving, and am I wrong? That's a fucking wig.
Maybe you're right. I never thought about it. You are fucking so insightful on fucking Halloween. This is absurd. Wow. It's like I've never seen the movie before.
I don't notice it when she's laying down, but in like the final chase when she's running and moving, it doesn't move like real hair. It looks like a fucking wig because I think didn't by that time she had short hair like with the fog and all that. She had short hair, right? And so yeah, it's definitely a wig, dude. No way
it would make sense. They wanted to look like Laurie of old, of course, because it's fucking continuation.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, let's talk about Karen's kill and Bud's kill.
Bud. Fucking what's his name? It's fucking Axel's brother from the final chapter.
Oh man. Yeah, Bud. I mean, how can you not love to fucking not, I don't want to say hate this guy, but he's so sleazy. I think it's mainly he's sleazy because he's stacked up right next to Goody Jimmy, the other paramedic. But Bud is probably the guy who's most like us. Right. He's talking like us. He's getting with chicks. Is he smoking weed in the fucking?
Yeah, he's holding it with the fucking thing too. The surgical scissors. He's in the joint with that because he's down to the roach. And it's fucking great. Surgical fucking scissors for a roach clip. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. And
great. Amazing Grace. Yeah, okay.
Amazing Grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie.
Look, why don't you just shut up, all right?
What are you all revved up about?
Look, it could have been Ziggy, and it could have been your brother Mark we pulled out of there.
All right, so what do you want me to do? Look, Jimmy, rule number 1, never get involved with a patient. Nurses, that's another story. But patients, it's no good, it never works out. Where you going, college boy? I'm telling you, listen to old Bud.
The fucking TV cut is brutal on that part.
Oh, wow. Right?
Holy shit. Oh, my God. It's worse than watching Die Hard 2, the fucking TV cut. You probably haven't seen that.
No.
Oh, dude.
Okay,
I know you don't like action movies, but you need to YouTube some Die Hard 2, the TV version, because they get in some guy to overdub Bruce Willis. It sounds like this.
So the Christian Bale is Batman.
It's fucking terrible. Oh my God. It's so fucking funny, dude. It's hilarious. You gotta check that out.
Well, if they bring Batman Begins or fucking to TV, you can do fucking Christian Bale's fucking voiceover. I'm telling you.
Alfred, give me another Coke.
Look at this guy. Fucking Wazell. He goes from fucking Craig from South Park to fucking American Psycho, fucking Batman himself. Holy fuck.
So, this whole hot tub scene, I don't really care for it. I mean, what I feel like they're trying to do is the whole Linda Bob scene. Because they're having sex.
Yeah.
The guy is killed, unbeknownst to the woman.
Right.
And then he comes in, and she thinks that he's somebody else. I think they're trying to recreate that entire scene and the feel of that, but it just doesn't work for me. I mean, it's nice to see her topless and all that shit.
Yeah.
But for her to get scalded. And this doesn't happen in the TV cut, which I'm kind of glad. He just forcefully drowns her real quick.
Right.
That's it. But in the theatrical, doesn't she get like burned because the water's getting hotter and hotter and hotter?
Yes. And her face starts to flake and shit, and fucking she's burned up. And however, it's a rip from Argento. Argento did it with fucking in the 70s with Deep Red.
That's true. Wow, that's right. I never made that connection.
Yeah, that's why this is the Argento Halloween. The Goblin type soundtrack, the fucking some of the foreshadowing of not foreshadowing, but the way they show Michael in the background through a few scenes is something like he did in like Bird with the Crystal Plumage and some of his earlier giallos and shit like that. And then this fucking with the rip from fucking the Deep Red Murder. Yeah. Yeah, wow. It's weird. Well, but you didn't like that?
Well, okay, I like the look of her and stuff like that. Michael's hand is fine.
I knew you were going there.
Michael's hand is fine. That's what
Fair
pisses
enough.
me off. It's like, okay, it can take someone's flesh off, but you're okay? Dude, come on. I know you've been shot 6 times, and I know you've been stabbed and all that shit, but come on. It's like
I know.
They should have just drowned her, I think, and that's one thing about the theatrical that I like. I mean, special effects wise, yes, it's cool.
It is cool.
Sense wise, no, it doesn't.
Right, I know. So that's why I'm on the fence. I like to see it because I think it's pretty decent makeup the way they do it, and a little more deterioration each time with the burning of her face looks cool. But of course, the whole when he plunges her back in, I'm looking at his hand in the water, and right. Nothing's bothering him there. So I hear you. It's senseless, but I still like the outcome of.
Wait. Wait, I can explain it. I can explain it all with one word.
Nice.
Thorn! The Colt can make him invincible.
Yeah, he's got that thing on his hand, doesn't he? The fucking sign of Thorn, isn't it on his right hand? I'll go a step further. There you go. The hand is fucking invincible. See?
It's on his wrist.
Yes, it is. See, it's on his right wrist. The curse of Thorn. The fucking
God.
He has power against hot water.
You know, I mean, we're gonna
Or
get
mild
there.
water.
we're eventually gonna get there, but I mean, at least they didn't go Jason Goes to Hell route with it. You know what I mean? Oh, brother. Anyways,
right.
So yeah, they get whacked, and I'm sorry, I stole your line.
Nice, hey. Everybody have a shot, right? What's the fucking game, right? There you go.
They get whacked. Drink.
Social.
Yep.
Dr. Loomis, you've been ordered back to Smith's Grove.
Ordered? He can't order me.
No. But the governor can. He spoke to Dr. Rogers personally a few hours
The
ago.
governor? Well.
Dr. Loomis, this thing is all over the state. The patient escapes once, murders 3 teenagers. You shoot him with a gun, he escapes again.
Someone should have listened to me earlier.
I know, I'm sorry. Dr. Rogers is just afraid this could jeopardize our whole rehabilitation program. He doesn't want anyone from the mental health department anywhere near Haddonfield.
Why'd he send you down here then?
In case you'd already found him. Alive.
Tell Dr. Rogers. Tell him you couldn't find me. Tell him anything. I can't leave Haddonfield now.
I'm afraid you don't have a choice. There's a marshal waiting for you outside.
You see the blackboard back there in the elementary school?
Yeah.
In order to appease the gods, the druid priests held fire rituals. Prisoners of war, criminals, the insane, animals were burned alive in baskets. By observing the way they died, the druids believed they could see omens of the future. 2,000 years later, we've come no further. Samhain isn't evil spirits. It isn't goblins, ghosts, or witches. It's the unconscious mind. We're all afraid of the dark inside ourselves.
Every other word you say is either hell or shit or damn.
And another great kill that was cut out of the TV cut is the doctor. This is and I didn't realize that this is totally missing from the TV cut.
Yeah,
and
what
it's
a shame.
Yeah, because it's one of the better ones, definitely. I mean, I have an affinity towards the hammer claw kill, but this one is a fucking close second in my opinion.
Well, it's an aftermath shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? Maybe if we saw it actually penetrate, it would have been more satisfying.
And this doctor, I mean, is he acting?
He's been at the country club. I think he's drunk.
Oh, great. Janet, get me some more coffee. Oh, Lori. Hi there. Well, let's see what we have here. Oh, yes. You lost a lot of blood.
When he's sitting there, when he's talking to the head nurse about how he was at the party with the Strodes, and his hands are shaking, his face is fucking red. I believe this guy is a fucking drunk, dude. I don't think he's fucking acting at all. I think they pulled a fucking guy from the front of a fucking liquor store, put a fucking lab coat on him, and said, "Act or be yourself," you know, and fuck.
Maybe he just showed up on the set hammer. They just fucking, well, we're fucking, the budget's fucking tight and we're tight on time. Let's just fucking roll with him. The guy's drunk. What are you gonna do?
He's a drunk now.
Yeah. We'll just write that in the script. We'll put that in. That's okay. We'll add it later. Well, look him up on IMDb. See if he worked after Halloween too. That might have been it.
Probably not. I doubt it. Maybe
Dr. Mixter.
He did some Magnum PI and
he probably did, right? Yeah, the heat of the night, some shit like that.
a couple episodes of Knight Rider or something. That's about it. Maybe an Incredible Hulk. Yeah, fuck.
Dr. Mixed Drink.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
There you go.
So.
Well, the whole Billy's not Billy. I always want to call him Billy. What's that fucking douchebag? What's his name?
Jimmy.
Thank you.
The
Jimmy.
Paramedic. Yeah.
He does kind of annoy me. He develops way too much of an affinity towards fucking Laurie.
Immediately. It's annoying, and
yes.
and not just him. It's from her a little bit too. When immediately.
Well, she's grasping at anything. Poor girl. She's could have been fucking a burn victim. She thought.
Ben Tramer's dead. You'll do.
Right. She needs somebody. He's paying her attention, so of course, poor girl. But he's just he's right to her. Maybe he's connected within the family too. Who knows? He's fucking. He's psychic.
They're acquaintances at best.
Yeah.
And they don't know each other, and so he's basically taking this as an opportunity to get with her. Essentially, that's how I see it. And it's annoying. He's always trying to get back in the room. The head nurse is always kicking him out. And it's like, we don't need this in this movie. You didn't have it in the last movie. It's another one of those things that they try to do, and it just doesn't work. That you don't need. They should have just fucking copied the first movie. Why? Sequels nowadays, that's what they do. They fucking copy. It's Home Alone and Home Alone 2. They copied the fucking movie, and they still made a fucking gajillion dollars because they did the exact same thing. And this one, they do stuff totally different, but still the same, but it's different enough that it just doesn't work. They should have done it 3 years in the future, another Halloween night, maybe even have Laurie Strode there. Who knows? I mean, but yeah, it's just okay.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. You missed your shot, man. You should have wrote that fucking script.
Yeah, I'd probably write 2 pages and then get bored.
Yeah. but yeah, I'll tell you what about Billy or whatever the fuck is Jimmy. Billy.
Bimmy.
Bimmy, yeah. I think I call him Billy because it reminds me of that kid in fucking Christmas Story. I mean, Black Christmas. Wasn't that kid Billy?
Yeah.
Doesn't he kind of look like him?
Billy. Yeah.
Billy, yeah. So maybe that's why I call him Billy. But anyway, I love the way they handled his situation in the TV cut a fucking 100 times better than what they did in the theatrical. I hated that whole scene where except for the fact that you don't know why he slips on the blood in the fucking TV version.
Okay.
'Cause all of a sudden he just slips on blood. But I've always hated that scene where he comes outside and she's in the car and then he passes out. It's so much better when she just goes in the car in the TV version and then things don't work out and then Loomis and them show up and things proceed. And then at the very end, fucking
that's when the explosion happens.
Oh, yes.
Well, he doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
Yeah, he just falls and hits his head.
The only thing that I love that they stay there for the end with the explosion and they show him slipping on blood, but the problem is they don't show why the blood's there.
Right.
He's just slipping on random blood on the floor.
Yeah, they don't show the head nurse's death. Yeah.
This would have been a much better movie if you could have somehow combined elements of the TV with the theatrical, made them one movie, and it really could have played out as a better film.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
It's too bad. Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck. We missed the head nurse's death. I don't even remember how she dies. How does she die?
She's just discovered on that fucking table, drained of her blood.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't really show it. She's just freaking in that thing. He comes across her and in that room, and yeah, somehow he fucking put her on that operating table and drained her of all her blood.
Mm-hmm. One thing we haven't really talked about was the fact that this movie, it adds a new wrinkle to it, and the fact that we find out that Laurie Strode is Michael's sister.
Dr. Loomis, please listen to me. There's a file on Michael Myers that nobody knew about.
I've seen everything.
No, it was hidden, sealed by the court after his parents were killed. Now, after the governor heard what happened tonight, he authorized Dr. Rogers to open it.
What file?
It isn't fair. They should have allowed you to examine everything. That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister. She was born 2 years before he was committed. 2 years after, his parents died and she was adopted by the Strodes. They requested that the records be sealed in order to protect the family.
Jesus, don't you see what he's doing here in Haddonfield? He killed one sister 15 years ago. Now it's trying to kill the other. Tonight, after I shot him, where did they take her?
The clinic.
Clinic? Where? Do you know this area well?
A little bit.
Where's the hospital located?
Dr. Loomis, we're under orders from the governor.
It's back on Route 17, about 3 miles.
Turn this car around now.
I can't do that. I've got orders.
Those orders just change.
Dr. Loomis.
Doctor, you're getting yourself into a lot of trouble.
What is it you fellas usually do? Fire a warning shot, right?
Now, okay, that means, okay, let me talk this out. That means the Strodes, no, not the Strodes, I'm sorry, the Myers, okay, they have 2 children. One is a teenager, one's a young child, 8 or something like that. The young child murders, very savagely, his older sister, okay? Obviously, that kid has to go off, be institutionalized, blah, blah, blah. Maybe a year or two, what would have been probably 3 or 4 years later, they decide to have another kid. Does that seem true to life? Don't you think they would be like, nah, no more fucking kids. You know, we don't need this kind of aggravation in our life. Or, you know, I don't know. I don't have kids, you know, so it just seems kind of strange to me.
Yeah, who knows? It could have been an accident.
Slip of the banana. Whoops.
That's it. You know, Lori was an accident. Poor thing.
Okay, so let's say 3 years later, after. Okay, Michael Myers is 21, right? That's said in the first.
She's 17.
Movie.
Right.
She's 17.
Right.
How old is he? At the beginning of the first, he's like 8 years old at least, right? Makes no sense. Where is she? She would have been there, right?
I agree.
Am I tripping?
That's where I thought you were actually going when you started talking about it, and then you went into the.
It just dawned on me right now.
Right. That's what I thought. The only thing I could think of is that, you know, they didn't trust the older sister with the fucking with the infant, and they were somewhere else.
Okay,
yeah,
so the parents would have had. Well, she would have been what? She would have been, if he's 8, and she's 4 years. She would have been 4. Okay, right. So she was possibly in the car that Halloween night whenever.
You could buy that. Yeah, she's asleep, maybe in the back seat.
That's wow. Okay, that's crazy. It's crazy to me. Never
right,
thought about
I hear you, but still, yeah, I agree that is kind of fucked up. And here's what I want to know: in the theatrical version, remember when they show the flashback scene when she goes back to visit Michael?
Yes.
She's a child. They really stretch it out in the TV version. It's a whole different thing. It's a much longer sequence. Mm-hmm. And she goes in there and she talks. Do you remember this?
Yes. Yeah. She's she's pleading. Yeah, she's saying, "Please don't hurt me, Michael." Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They don't do that in the theatrical, do they?
I don't recall it, but I
don't think so. She just goes and looks, and Michael turns around, and then she wakes up from the dream, and they play like a little music. What the fuck were they dropped the ball in the TV version there. That was just fucking terrible. And that voice they used, it was fucking you know what it reminded me of? Did you ever see that movie, that Fulci movie, fucking House by the Cemetery?
Yes.
With that little boy, Bob?
Oh, God,
hello,
you're right.
That fucking, right?
It sounded like an adult trying to do a young kid's voice. That's what it sounded like to me.
Just like Bob. I'm telling you.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's great. Oh, man.
That's exactly what I thought of when I watched this movie the other day. I was like, what the fuck is that? Why would they do that? And why does the voice sound that way?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Please, Michael. Oh, it was terrible.
And Michael is so... He has a look of like...
disgust.
A villain would have. You know what I mean? Whereas all the other stories or images that we've seen of him would prove the exact opposite. He would have been stone-faced, and staring off at nothing. Instead, he's looking at her like, yeah, I fucking want to kill you. It was so out of it. And,
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been excluded from both versions. Very bad.
Yes. Well, yeah. And I think in the theatrical version, doesn't the dream happen prior to Loomis finding out that they're related? Whereas in the TV cut,
I think you're right.
I think they were kind of at the same time. Loomis finds out, and then she has like the fever dream or whatever.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess
made more sense that way.
Yeah, a little bit, but
then they fucked it up with that voice, and they made it too long of a scene, and they should have just left it out.
They should have left it out. Yeah, it was
completely.
The whole relationship thing just doesn't, like you said, it's a product of late night and booze. Which
that's what he said. I mean, it's too bad. It's too bad they tried to come up with some cool thing about this movie.
It's so much better in watching the first one and just thinking that he sees her for the first time when she drops the key off and becomes infatuated with her.
Right.
And that's what his driving force is.
She sings that song. And
he's like, I want to be alone with you. You know, that is so much fucking better than thinking that he has to kill his family because it's called the Thorn and blah, 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 blah.
Right, and they do touch upon it. They fucking, that whole Sam Hain thing.
What's this?
It's gibberish. No. It's a Celtic word. Samhain. It means the Lord of the Dead. The end of summer. The festival of Samhain. October 31st.
Oh my God, I forgot in the school.
Right?
Oh,
yes.
and there's a
festival of Sam Hain. Yes.
Dude, and what's worse than that is the fucking knife in
the
drawing.
Sister?
Oh, brutal.
Why would that even be in a classroom? First of all, that would have taken place fucking 15 years prior, right? Why would that be in any classroom? You think you can go to your grammar school now? You've been out of school for 15 years. You're going to walk into a classroom. I'm going to go in Miss Williams' class and look and fucking see my old homework.
Oh
yeah, it's
God.
right here. Fucking,
brutal. Oh,
yes.
Just fucking brutal.
Yeah, man.
Hey, since we're talking about all this sister-brother bullshit, you've seen the Halloween TV cut, the original, the TV cut?
Yeah.
Do they add in the fact that they're brother and sister in that? Because I haven't seen it, and I've heard some stuff about it, and I was just curious about that.
I don't believe so, but I've also probably only watched it once or twice, and it's probably been a couple years, so
gotcha.
I don't recall.
All right.
But by the end of this series, I will have watched it, so
okay.
I'll let you know.
I forgot to get back to me on that. Loomis, well, here's another fucking totally ludicrous part.
Yeah.
Once Loomis finds out that fucking Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister, he fucking pulls a gun on the fucking cop and says, "Turn this fucking car around." Yep. The cops like, "I'm not going to turn the car around. That's stupid. I'm not going to get fired." He fucking fires a shot out the goddamn window.
It's great.
And
what is it you fellas do? Fire a warning shot. Get
the fuck out of here. Oh, and the car immediately does a fucking 180. Yeah, so quick. It's fucking hilarious. That
man.
I just couldn't
shit his pants.
I couldn't fucking believe that. Loomis is fucking out of his goddamn mind.
By this point, yeah, sure. This is the wee hours of the morning, everything that's happened. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
he shot him after he shot him 6 times. fucking all hell breaks loose, man. He completely comes undone, you know?
Oh, fuck. So, he goes back to the hospital, and they go back, and unbeknownst to them, Laurie is outside, right? And so they go inside, and then this is part of an incredibly long chase that is so ridiculous,
right?
Because of Dick Warlock and his fucking slow movements. And first of all,
the elevator thing.
The elevator, dude. Are you cut that whole fucking piece of shit out? Are you? Is Michael a fucking retard? I mean,
right? I told you he's something.
That's what made me. Yeah, because like he couldn't reach his hand and stop the elevator. He couldn't walk faster than negative 2 miles an hour to fucking like, dude. If you want to catch her, why don't you just catch her? I mean, she is right there. I don't.
You're going through all this trouble.
Oh my god.
Oh, I gotta be stylistic about it till the fucking last drop. You know.
But then they do it again. She's outside, and then all of a sudden he's off afar by the fucking street light, And
it's a knockoff of part 1 with the fucking front door of the house.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Except since you just came off that stinker of the whole elevator thing, it makes this bad as well. Whereas in the first movie, and I commented on that, where, you know, because he was walking towards her, but he wasn't fucking at a snail's pace. You know,
Right.
he still had some sense behind him. He was still going to get there. You know what I mean? So, it's just brutal. So, fucking, they let Laurie Strode into the hospital, and then Michael's got to get into the hospital. How would you get in? I would just walk right through that fucking door. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he probably did that the first time, right?
Holy shit. Yeah.
But I do like that scene.
I do like that. I've always kind of liked that. When I was a kid and I would try to write stories and stuff like that of guys, I actually wrote that entire bit of somebody just walking through a glass door like that into one of my little stories. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? No. Is it cool aesthetically? Yes. It's supposed to show the power that Michael exudes and all that shit. But then we get some more shooting from Dr. Loomis. And I love this part because he gets him down, and that's when Laurie's like, you know, I think she says, "Why won't he die?"
Yep.
And but then the cop, the fucking cop that's with him,
breathing.
he's like, you know, he's like, "Don't you go near him? He's not dead. He's not breathing." But then him and Laurie start having a fucking conversation, and so he thinks, that's fine. I'll go check him out. I don't know why, but I love that just because of the stupidity of the cop, you know, coming, you know, he deserves to get killed. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. He was warned. It was good, though. It was a good death, that freaking throat slit.
We get to the climax where it's Loomis and Laurie in this room of tanks of what is that? Oxygen?
I guess, yeah.
Something. I don't know. Something like that. So,
guess so.
Michael busts through another door because he can just fucking, you know, he can just rip open doors now. That's how superhuman he is.
Yep, fucking thorned out.
I think bullets give him power, I guess. I don't know. You know, the more bullets in his body, the stronger this fucking guy gets. But anyways.
Yeah, they're power pellets for him. Yes.
He cracks through this door like it's a fucking pistachio, and fucking Loomis is out of bullets, you know. He shot him 6 times, and he shot him 6 more, you know. But he gave Laurie the fucking other cop's gun, and oh my God, is she a fucking marksman? I had no idea. She gets two shots off.
Oh, she's a Deadeye. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Deadeye is right. She fucking shoots the guy blind, and I love this image.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That fucking image of the blood running out of the mask is great. And no matter, it doesn't make sense how she would be able to do it, but it's fucking awesome. It looks fucking
on the cover,
great.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of the new,
or at least yeah,
Scream Factory.
Yeah,
one?
the re-release. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very cool. And so Michael's blind, swinging all around. I do kind of like that. I like the whiffing sound. Yes, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. Very cool. Loomis gets the fucking boner idea to fucking gas the place, and he's gonna fucking blow the place up.
Yeah.
Now, did you recognize? I think it was last year when I watched it. I finally recognized that lighter was from the deputy. Did you recognize that?
I didn't know until I watched the fucking commentary the other day.
Oh, okay.
And the director said, "Pay attention to this lighter," because he takes the cigarette out, he lights one, and he bends the cigarette, and then he gives one to fucking Loomis, and then he takes the lighter and doesn't get back. He goes, "Remember that lighter?" And right then and there, I knew what he was alluding to, of course.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to bring it up to you. Wow, and you just noticed it last year, huh?
Yeah, it was just one of those things, just watching it,
Right.
Because, and here's why I noticed it. Because I've seen all of these movies. I know Dr. Loomis doesn't smoke, but he takes the cigarette, and then the guy wants to light it for him, and he doesn't let him light it, and then he just takes the lighter from him, and it just was so noticeable to me. You know what I mean? It just stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
So then,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, Laurie runs out of there. Fucking. Does Loomis say some? What does he say before he fucking ignites the fire?
It's time, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Me
you
too.
know? Yeah. And because it just feels like an ending. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even though we may have bashed this movie top to bottom, left to right, it's still like these same characters, and it feels complete once, it makes sense.
Yes.
There's no reason for Dr. Loomis to continue on. No reason.
No,
he has one mission in life, and
that's it. Yes.
And that's Michael Myers, and that's
That's
it.
true.
You know what I mean? So
it's like Romeo and Juliet,
yeah, exactly. They need to die together.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what he does. He blows them both up in great fashion. And then you get the burn walk. And this was probably the first time, I think, that I've seen this. Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think this was the first time that I've seen like a full burn and somebody walking away. And
yeah, it's sweet.
And even though you can tell he's the Michelin Man, wrapped up underneath that thing
Right.
in a million different ways, it still is cool as shit. and I always love that. And the shot of the burning mask is fucking great. It feels so complete. It's like, yes, this is the end.
Yep.
No need for anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I agree. It's fucking great. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they show it again later with the Sandman song playing before the credits roll, that's cool too.
Yes. Yep. With the bookend of the Sandman song, and it's the next morning, the very foggy next morning. I love it. I don't like Jimmy or Bimmy or Billy. I don't like him being in the back of the ambulance solely for the fact that he is completely covered up like a corpse, and then slowly rises up. I mean, I guess it looks cool, but why would he cover his head if he's still alive? I don't understand.
Yeah, why did they cover him?
You know what I mean? It's just to have that effect,
right?
And it doesn't really make sense.
True.
I understand why they did it, to get like one last little gasp out of you or whatever, but yeah. I prefer the ending where it's just Laurie, and she's not going, "We did it, we did it."
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like her saying that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool in the original how it's cryptic and it's darker, and she's sitting there just with that plain look on her face.
She's just sitting there because she's all alone. She doesn't have Michael. Her parents are still not fucking there.
Yeah.
Where are they? They're at some fucking acid party or something now. They went to another fucking party, but
fucking tripping balls on Halloween night.
Yeah, with that, I mean, that's pretty much Halloween 2. Now, ratings, we fucking bash this a lot.
However,
I don't know how I'm gonna go. I think I'll still give this a 4. I think. I kind of want to give this a 3, maybe a 3.5, but I'll still give it a 4. I mean, it goes hand in hand with the original Halloween. Yes, it's not as good. Yes, they introduce things that are terrible for the franchise. But if you want a Halloween movie and you don't want the first one, this is probably maybe the best you're going to get. It's one of the best you're going to get, definitely. And I still really enjoy to watch this movie. There's a lot of things I love about it. So I would have to say that at 4, I really like it.
We've said all this stuff throughout. We've picked on it a lot and everything else, and we've compared. And the whole time I knew that at the end of the day, that I'm still rating it high. And that I was like, well, however, we said this and this, but it still has that, that atmosphere that really feels like Halloween. Maybe even more so than the original. I mean, Halloween, the holiday itself.
Right.
Something about that when it first starts. And it's a good slasher. It has a lot of elements. Loomis steals the show, I think. And I'll follow you. I'll stick with the 4. I thought maybe 3.5, but when you get right down to it, exactly.
So
it's a good movie.
And definitely peel this one back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I recommend this to anybody. With that, we are going to get out of here. It's been a blast, Dave. Absolute fun as usual. Please drop us a line. Email bananalaser@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening. And see you later, fuckers.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Later.
Happy Halloween, everybody!